Bah! Bing bong! Welcome to the CineBoiz podcast, guys. Good to see you. Tom, good to see you. Mob, good to see you. Kevin could not be with us this week. Unfortunately, he is, I think he's helping his parents move or his in-laws move, one or the other. Good. Okay, good for him, man. What a good son he is, you know? You had to. Yeah, I feel like to him being the big super fan of the CineBoiz that he is, I feel like he should know better than to make his son help him move the day we record. But I don't know. Why wouldn't they be? Oh shoot! Hold on. We hold on. I gotta hold on 1 second. We got an issue here. Gonna make a quick adjustment. We are live. We are live. Just gotta get the audio right here. Can you go ahead and say something, guys? Okay. There we go. Now we're back. Now we're live. Now everybody is you can hear everything. Yeah, so there was I had the wrong thing in there. So everybody, we're just going to start over. Ready? Do over. And I'll edit the podcast recording to start here, but bing bong. Welcome to the CineBoiz podcast. How you guys doing? Like we said, but you couldn't hear him, I am joined by Tom over here, Mob down here. Kevin cannot be with us this week because he's being a good son and helping his parents move. So, good for him. What a good guy.
The Son of the Year award,
Yes, agreed.
which wouldn't go to Devin Booker or Chris Paul right now.
Ooh, burn.
Not a sports podcast.
He got him so good. Not a sports podcast, but yeah. NBA Finals are happening right now. Well, here's the thing. We usually don't do this, but we are live on YouTube right now. We didn't tell anybody because we have had some issues in the past where we just couldn't get our stuff to work. And we would broadcast it out to everybody that we're going to be streaming live, and then it just falls to shit. So, that being said, we are going to test it out this week, and it's a super secret stream. So, if you're here, welcome. Say something in the chat. Be part of the conversation. We got a lot of stuff to do, and we're going to talk about a movie that's 30 years old this year, and we're going to go in-depth on it. So, stay tuned for that. Right now, I'm just kind of making some adjustments to this stream because we definitely ran into some issues here. But, you know, like I said, my name's Kenny. I'm one of the co-hosts of the CineBoiz podcast. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Tom.
Hi.
Tom, what are you big on this week, my man?
Not a whole lot this week, honestly. But I will say I am thrilled that we are in the top 10% of podcasts listened to.
Yeah,
I didn't believe it for days. It still is kind of hard to believe, but I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you guys totally did not believe me on that.
I did not.
But yeah, no, we are in the top 10 podcasts globally, top 10 of podcasts that are listened to. So when you do the math on it, though, we're not in the top 10. We are in the top 10%. So there's a big difference.
I hope I said top 10%.
Yes. We should always clarify it is top 10%.
Which still feels like a big deal.
Yes, it's a big deal for us. It's shocking. We're kind of shocked that it's that high, but yeah, no, it is an honor. Thank you for everybody who listens, subscribes to us, watches this on YouTube. But yes, like I said, my name's Kenny. I'm one of the co-hosts of the CineBoiz podcast. Tom, thanks for telling us what you're big on. I did forget a couple of housekeeping things, but we are part of the Corkbats Podcast Network. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, thank you so much. Please consider subscribing, writing a review, rating us, all that good stuff. I don't think we had any new reviews this week, did we?
I didn't see any.
I didn't check.
I double checked before we got on, but I didn't see any either. If you are watching on the Cork Bats YouTube page, either right now or on Monday when this gets released, actually it'll get released right after we're done. So, I mean, essentially you're getting ahead of the game if you watch on YouTube. You get it a day early. Thank you so much. Please consider subscribing to the Cork Bats podcast, or excuse me, the Cork Bats YouTube page, where you can find all your great sports Cork Bats content. Cool. Anyways, Mob,
So,
what are you big on this week, my man?
touched on it a little last week, I think, but what I'm big on this week is Succession. Just finished season 1, and I mean, I hate all of them, but I love all of them because I hate all of them. You know,
They're all dirtbags, for sure.
it's one of those shows where like there's like my wife was asking me about it, and I was like, yeah, it's just one of those shows where you hate literally everyone.
Yeah.
No one's a good guy
Nice.
in it,
No,
but it's
Indeed.
awesome.
Oh, it's the best
Also,
show.
I couldn't survive in a New York business like that. I've learned. No way.
No, it's too fast paced.
Too cutthroat.
We're way too nice in Midwest for that shit.
Yeah.
We can't cut it. And
I can't imagine having a parent and not knowing when they were telling me the truth and when they were lying at every moment in their life.
right.
Yeah. Sounds stressful.
But it is still a fantastic show. If you haven't
Why
seen it
why isn't Vin Diesel in it? It's all about family.
It's all about family. By the way, do you guys know today is Vin Diesel's birthday?
Is he 53?
I don't know.
Because he's older than I would have expected him to be.
Well,
I don't
think
know.
about it. The first Fast and the Furious movie came out 20 years ago.
Right, I know. But he's always kind of like looked the same.
Yeah. Just he's
So
been
hats
bald.
off, hats off to
Let's-
him.
What's your guess, Ken, on his age?
He's got to be in his 50s. I don't know specifically, but I would say I'm not shocked by 53.
He is 54. So good,
Oh,
good,
nice.
Wow.
Hats off
good
to
call.
me.
So he was yesterday. Had you guessed 53, you would have been right.
I would have
How
been right.
crazy is that?
Yeah,
pretty
that's
wild.
Nuts. That's nuts. But yeah, I mean, he's been bald since Saving Private Ryan. So I mean, the movie's 23 years old. So I mean, when you're bald, I feel like you don't age as fast as somebody who has hair, because hair is a very good indicator of how old you are, or like
Yeah.
having it and then gradually losing it. He's just never had it. So
You know what? I've never. This is a good hair podcast, and you
We all
only get
have good
that
hair.
if you watch YouTube.
that's a good point.
We all have great hair.
Yeah, we all do. And you know, I will say this: I've been using Keeps because I started losing my hair really bad. I had that really bad bald spot, and I also have a double crown, which accentuates a bald spot really badly. I've been doing Keeps for a few months now, and it's working great. I've grown a lot of
Good.
my hair back, and
Nice.
I can hardly notice the bald spot anymore.
Keeps.
So-
This is the kind of ad you'll get if you want to
Yes.
support us.
Keeps.
Please support us, Keeps.
We know that you support other podcasts.
We're in the top
We're in the
10%.
top 10% of podcasts, so please consider sponsoring us and Cork Bats in general. It'd be great. We like money. We'd like to make more of it. So, yeah, that's great. Well, damn, guys. It's been a crazy week. What do you say we get into some box office numbers right now?
Let's do it.
All right. Here comes that little transition, and there we go. All right, so coming in at number 1 this week, making $31.7 million at the box office is Space Jam: A New Legacy, which we're going to need to talk about Space Jam here in a second. Have either of you guys seen it yet?
No.
No?
I've never really had a strong desire to see it.
But I'll have takes on it when you bring your takes because I know what your takes are, and I'll.
Yeah, it's not
Good.
We'll talk about it here in a second. I just it's not great. And then coming in at number 2 this week, second week in a row in the top 3, we got ourselves a little Black Widow with 26.3 million. Have you
That's a
guys
good
seen
number.
Black Widow yet? That is the real question.
Not yet.
Almost.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Sorry, guys. Here's the thing about going live. When you decide to do it real quick, you are just trying to catch up when you don't have everything set up right. So do apologize for the technical difficulties today. Yeah. Black Widow, great movie. Fantastic movie. I'm glad it made more money. It deserves to. And then coming in at number 3 is a movie I don't think I have heard of. $8.8 million, Escape Room Tournament of Champions, which is a sequel?
Apparently,
If I'm not mistaken.
I've seen a lot of advertisements for it.
Correct.
Okay. So it's like an escape room that kills you?
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's like Saw, but with escape rooms,
Yeah.
Okay.
essentially.
That sounds really
Awful.
like a very lazy concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Uh-huh. I have
Yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
I had no desire to see the first one, no desire to see this one.
Nope.
Like, to me, it just screams it's Saw without a plot, and it's escape rooms, and
Yeah.
that's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah.
Just go watch the first Saw, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm-
It's the best.
Yeah. It really is. And it's still really gory, but it's a good movie.
But it's not like
Comparatively.
over the top gory like the rest of them are.
Right.
It's an
Like, I'm
appropriate amount
sure-
of gore.
Escape Room Tournament of Champions is.
Ugh.
What's it rated? Is it rated R?
Gotta be.
I
What
would
if it's like a
assume.
PG? What if it's rated PG? It's just like a
Holy
really...
cow, it's NC-17.
What?
it's
I gotta
it's-
see it now.
It's PG-13.
It is PG-13?
Yeah.
So it's essentially like it's like Saw, but they're like, hey, we want high school students to go see it.
Let's tone it back a little
Yeah.
bit on the violence.
Let's tone down Saw.
And let's make it more relatable. What do teens do in their spare time?
They love escape rooms, right?
Yeah.
Those are a fad.
Yeah.
Real thoughtful minds behind that.
I will say,
yeah.
I did watch one of the first Fear Street movies last night on Netflix.
Okay.
Not good, but I'm also like just invested enough to kind of see how the rest of it plays out. So I feel kind of trapped into watching the rest of it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like my own personal escape room. I have
Fair
to
enough.
watch it to be done with it.
So it's several movies and they all came out at the same time.
It's 3 movies and they came out in succeeding weeks.
And
So
they're
the first
based
one
off
came out. Yeah, the first one came out like over the 4th of July weekend, and they're all out now. But they're based on R.L. Stein books.
That's
which
what
I've
I
read a
thought.
couple of those.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, good for you, man.
Yeah, I just want to share that.
Well, thanks for letting us know so we didn't.
Yeah, don't waste your time.
okay.
But I already have, so that's my gift to you.
Gotcha.
I
Well, cool.
heard the second one was better.
Yeah, I looked up the ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, and it looked like based on the ratings, they just get better. So I'm hopeful that I will at least enjoy the next one. But we'll see.
Yeah, man. Well, cool. Well, so that's it for box office numbers this week. Not like super impressive. I mean, $31.7 million, I guess post COVID is pretty impressive. But I mean, last week, Black Widow, 80 million domestic. So I mean,
Yeah.
not great. But I mean, here's the thing: Space Jam, obviously, it's on HBO Max. I don't think they calculate those numbers into that. I watched it. It's a piece of shit. Just like if you go to Cork Bat's website and read our blog post about the reasons why we think Space Jam will be terrible, they pretty much hit every single one out of the park. LeBron, terrible actor. The jokes are horrid, like just so bad. They don't really make any sense. Other than it's just like, hey, just say this because like it's a thing. I don't even know how to explain it. And on top of that, it really doesn't have a discernible plot, or at least like it's plot adjacent. Like it just kind of, you don't really understand anyone's motivation for anything in the movie. And really what it is, it's a 90-minute commercial for Warner Brothers properties.
Mm-hmm.
They're just jamming all these references into this movie. Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess. You should see it though.
I might. My thing is like the first one wasn't good. We think of it as good because we were children when we watched it, and as children it was good.
Yeah.
I rewatched it in college. It was terrible.
Yeah, no, it's not a good movie, but it's a kids movie. So
Exactly.
here's the thing: I read a lot of stuff on Twitter about this new one, and people just being like, "Why do you gotta hate on this movie? What were you expecting it to be, like Citizen Kane or something?" And it's like, well, no, of course not. But like, it still can be a good movie. Like, you can still
Absolutely.
make a good movie, even
'cause-
if you have LeBron as your like lead character. You can still make it a good movie. They didn't try. Like, they literally just threw all this shit into this movie. And we're like, oh, lots of bright lights and colors. Kids are gonna love it, and I'm sure they do. I'm sure kids absolutely love this movie.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. It was, oh, okay, we'll remake a movie that did well for children, and it's easy money. That's all it is. It's easy money. Throw LeBron in a basketball movie with Bugs Bunny, kids will watch it, and we'll get money, and we'll get to do an advertisement for our studio, and so
there's a scene in the movie where LeBron meets with Warner Brothers executives, and the executives are played by Sarah Silverman and Stephen Yeun. And I was sitting there watching it thinking, like, Stephen Yeun, just fresh off an Oscar nomination, and this is his follow-up. That is a huge bummer.
probably contractually. Thanks, Tom. Obligated.
Yeah, not good.
Which has got to be frustrating.
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't too stoked about that.
Or it was like, that the only scene he was in?
Yeah, only scene he was in.
So maybe he gets paid like, a couple $100,000 for a scene,
an hour's
and he's
worth
done.
Of work. Yeah.
Really? Like, is someone gonna hold "You Were in Space Jam 2" over your head for the rest of your life for a scene?
No,
I don't think so.
Probably
so.
not.
I think he'll be okay.
There's also some cameos. I won't ruin it, but like the one joke that there's only one.
You can't ruin it because I don't care about Space
There's
Jam.
a joke where there's a joke that the only joke that lands in the whole movie, but they even, in my opinion, they could have done it better. Was that at halftime, Porky Pig says he found Michael Jordan in the audience. And then they bring him in, and it's Michael B. Jordan, not Michael Jordan.
That's pretty good.
Other than that, the movie's shit.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah. So, but you know where the movie belongs? It belongs at Best Buy to display like 8K TVs.
Yeah.
Like, it is so cool. Like, a lot of fun colors and sounds.
Very vibrant.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should use that movie
Lively.
as a way to sell TVs. So, Space Jam 2. Check it out or don't. Other than that, though, not a lot of huge movie news this week. The only real big thing that we got this week was the announcement of Jackass 4.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah. Johnny Knoxville was recently in an issue of GQ, and they like took pictures of him, and it was just like, man, he's like old.
Yeah.
What happened?
It's crazy.
Time.
Yeah.
It gets everyone, but like,
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm shocked that no one has died from doing stuff on the show. Now,
Right,
some
yeah.
of them have died.
Yeah.
Tragically. But not
R.I.P..
like, yeah. And it's like, man, it's shocking. And then the fact that, we got a whole nother movie coming out. I just
People
feel
will
like
see it.
Johnny Knoxville in particular is going to be having some major health issues in like a few years.
Oh, and like Steve-O probably even more so.
Yeah. Well, Steve
feel
is
like
like
he
really
went the
healthy
furthest.
now. Like,
Yeah.
he's sober and he's like pretty healthy.
Yeah.
So, he's probably done enough shit to his body to probably take a solid decade off of his life. But yeah. But yeah, so we got that Jackass 4 coming out. So that's exciting. And it's called Jackass Forever, by the way. Like Batman Forever.
What if it just like continually goes on and never, ever ends? And so we just have like a continuous stream of Jackass.
I mean,
That's what the forever
I might
means.
Check that out. Just tune in every once in a while, see what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, cool.
That would get tiring.
That's really all we had for the movie news this week. So let's get to why we're actually here. We're obligated to be here because we do a podcast. But this week we decided, hey, you know what we haven't done in a long time? We haven't done a movie discussion, which, we did a lot of them, like end of last year. 3 or 4 of them, actually.
Mm-hmm.
and then we just kind of stopped. So we figured today, hey, you know what? We got a movie. It's turning 30 years old. We all love it. Let's talk Terminator 2. Okay? So today we're going to have a little in. This movie came out when I was 2 years old. So I did not see it right away. A little too young, I'd say. First time I saw it was, I think I was in junior high or middle school. I think it was about 10 years old when saw it the first time. Because that was like about the age where it's like, okay, you can start watching a few rated R movies. You're old enough. And this
They need to be on TV and cut.
Well, actually, so
for me anyway.
Yeah, my parents were like, you can watch the Terminator movies. They're pretty tame. So I watched Terminator 1 and 2, and there's like some of the first like rated R movies that I'd ever seen, and it was mind-blowing. Terminator 1 is like a okay movie, but I do feel like Terminator 2 is like on a whole other level in comparison. What do you guys think?
I think that's kind of the consensus thought.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like, I mean, I love both those first two. I think the first one is great, but I do feel like, even today, I still feel like some of those special effects still honestly hold up, which is kind of crazy for being early 90s. That's 30 years ago now, but like it still looks like really good.
I agree. That's one of the things I wrote down. I watched it again yesterday. I wrote down as like these effects are dated, but they're not like too dated.
It's not goofy looking.
Yeah, it doesn't look horrible. I can tell it looks old, but there's a lot worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy because like it's like one of the first movies to use CGI, because I think there wasn't at that time, there wasn't like people didn't really know how to use it or didn't have access to it. So it was one of the first movies to be able to use that, and they use it a lot. And then, like I said, it doesn't look bad. It kind of holds up. It looks dated, but it's not bad. But yeah, it's a solid movie, and it was like one of those first movies where for me, like watching a really good action movie, because when I first saw it, I was only 10 years old, so it wasn't didn't feel old at all at that point. But yeah, it definitely kind of holds up there. So let's just kind of get into the plot of this movie a little bit. All right. So Terminator 2 Judgment Day is set in 1995 Los Angeles. 2 years before Judgment Day, the eponymous nuclear holocaust, which will result in the near extinction of humanity and the rise of an evil artificial intelligence called Skynet. So I didn't realize that the movie takes place in 1995.
I did not either.
Yeah, but it kind of makes sense because like the original Terminator takes place in 1984, and then John Connor has to be, I think in the movie he's supposed to be 10, which he's definitely way older than 10. Yeah, he's way older than 10.
Oh wow.
So if you haven't seen Terminator 1, sorry, spoiler alert, but essentially the plot of the first Terminator movie is that a Terminator, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is sent back in time to 1984 to try to kill Sarah Connor. He does not succeed, thanks to the help of a young man by Kyle
T2.
Reese, who is actually John Connor's father. But that's a whole other thing. It's a mind twister. But
Is
yes,
it weird to you that we are 7 years away from the year the Terminator is sent back from?
that is
Yeah.
weird.
It always weirds me out when like we
Like,
reach these years in like movie
or I
history,
guess
like
7.5.
but
It's
like I
2029.
yeah. But I just remember like when the first Blade Runner takes place, it's like 2019.
Yeah.
And then when that happened a couple years ago, I'm just like, wait a second, this looks nothing like
Yeah. We're
what
actually
they.
doing pretty well.
Yeah,
Also, we
It's not
haven't
a complete-
advanced in technology as everyone thought we would have.
it's not a
Yeah.
complete hellscape, but we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
That's what's also funny to me is like their advanced technology that they have in those movies. You look at and you're like, we're not like in hovercrafts, but those
Yeah.
hovercrafts look so clunky. Like,
It's
we could
still
do that
very much
way
like
better.
1980s like tech, but like
Yeah.
what they think it would look like 30 years from now.
Right. Would you rather have the flying car in Blade Runner or a Tesla? And I'm going to say Tesla. That's my thought.
I mean, I wish it could fly, but
We're
maybe
getting there.
I don't know, maybe a Tesla.
It'll get there, man. Of like all the cars, Tesla's going to be the first one to fly.
Yeah,
I mean, it already auto runs or auto drives. So.
which I am not comfortable with, but
I'm
maybe
good
I will
with
be
it.
one day.
I trust
Well-
technology more than I trust myself.
The new
I
thing
do
is,
not.
the new thing is they're setting it up to where Teslas will have Bluetooth that can connect to other Teslas, so you can talk to other drivers, which just makes me think that's not a good idea.
That sounds like road rage waiting to happen.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyways, because John will eventually unite humanity and fight against the machines, Skynet wants him dead. To that end, they send back a T-1000 Terminator back to kill him. Realizing there was a threat to his life, though, future John sent back another Terminator to protect himself. So, in the first movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger's the bad guy. He's the Terminator sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor. And the Resistance, the future Resistance, sends back like a kind of a scrawny dude to protect her from Arnold the Machine, Kyle Reese. And like I said, they win barely. And then Sarah goes on living her life until 1995 when they send another Terminator to kill John. Here's my thing. So they've done this twice now. The future has sent robots back to kill. You would think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, okay, we send one Terminator back to kill Sarah Connor. Doesn't work out. Why not just send another Terminator back to kill Sarah Connor? Why do you decide like, oh, well, this time let's get him 10 years later when he's
Yeah.
alive?
Also, like, wouldn't that the timeline thing would it just this is where my head and time travel and all this stuff. If they kill Sarah Connor because they're in 2029, right? Sarah Connor's still alive or John Connor's still alive. They know this kid's coming. Wouldn't that just drastically alter the timeline in the future that they don't even know how that's going to end up?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And like, if they do kill Sarah Connor and John Connor doesn't live, like, do they in 2029, since they've sent that back to do that, did they just stop existing?
I don't know. It's kind of
Right?
weird. Does it follow like Back to the Future time travel laws, or does it follow like Avengers time travel or Marvel time travel laws?
I don't know if it means that they would cease to exist because they're not the ones that created like themselves essentially. Like Skynet would still come to fruition.
Yeah, but you pluck out one thing, you don't know what ramifications that has
Butterfly
on the
effect.
vast
Yeah, no.
majority. Exactly.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is too, so let's say yes, they send this Terminator back. He's successful in his mission to kill. There's still gonna be like a resistance, right? There's probably gonna be another resistance leader. Like, I feel like it's not a really well thought out plan.
Yeah. For being brilliant AI, they really did not think that one through.
Yeah. Anyways, so the logic there, not great. I could have run Skynet a lot better than a computer. I'm just gonna throw it out there. At least more effectively. So, in the second movie, we get the T-1000 Terminator, which is the liquid metal Terminator played by.
I can't not think about how it works. Every time I watch the movie, I'm always thinking, how is this even possible? And then if you watch like the later movies, like they kind of revert back to a more standard like robot type
Right.
nemesis.
Yeah.
It's just like, but liquid metal was like the most advanced machine. Like how I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's like yeah, I wouldn't say it's lazy. It's really creative and
It's super cool effects.
yeah, it's really cool effects. But at the same time it's like, okay, like how do you like fit like a computer into that without it getting destroyed whenever he gets frozen and shot? So like I don't know. The science and technology like movies in like the late 80s early 90s, it was like, let's not think about this too much. Let's just do it.
Which is, it's fine.
It's fine. It works. It doesn't not work, but it
Yeah.
just it's hard to wrap my mind around it sometimes. But I'm also stupid. So there's that. But yeah, so John and the friendly Terminator initially fight against the evil T-1000 alone, but they break Sarah out of her asylum. Now with Sarah, they fight against the T-1000 and ultimately win. So in a desperate cash grab by Carol Co., which was the company that made the movie, they're like, well, we can't make a sequel without Arnold in it. And even though he's the bad guy, let's make him the good guy. And so now there's two Terminators, a good Terminator and a bad Terminator, which if you've seen Hillbilly Elegy, you know that. Are you a good Terminator or a bad Terminator?
I don't know.
But yeah, so
Watch Hillbilly LG, you'll know.
I'd rather not.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
it's really bad. Is it worse
so
than
bad.
Space Jam? No, but it's pretty awful.
But it's the difference is that Hillbilly LG is trying to be a good movie. Space Jam is trying to be what it is.
Yeah, they're trying to make money.
Yeah.
And they did. They made some money. Let's see here. But yeah, no, so obviously they still have Arnold in the movie. He's the good Terminator. There's just a lot of... It's a long movie. It's like a 2.5-hour movie, Terminator 2. But for the most part, it moves pretty fast because there's a lot of like really iconic like fight scenes. So you get the initial scene, like big action scene in the LA River where there's the chase scene with the T-1000 and John Connor on his dirt bike. Then you get the asylum, you get the mall and then the LA River, and then you get the asylum scene where they break Sarah out, and then they go down to Mexico and like stock up on weapons, and they Sarah decides that she's gonna go kill the leader of Skynet or Cyberdyne Systems, Miles Dyson. But yeah, it moves pretty fast for.
Well, I think isn't that why they end up having to go to Cyberdyne Systems to destroy all the research that he's done?
I would say like halfway to like 3/4 of the way in the movie, it kind of stops being, even though they're still being hunted by the T-1000, it kind of becomes more of a movie about like how do we stop the future from happening. And they first try to go kill this Miles Dyson's guy, and they fail, but they also like stop Sarah from doing it. And then they explain to Miles Dyson what's happening, and then Miles Dyson's like, I'm in. Let's destroy all the work I've been doing the past 20 years. So meanwhile, the gang works to stop Judgment Day. They meet up with inventor Miles Dyson, and after kidnapping him, convince him that any future technology should be destroyed. He helps them do this, and they ultimately postpone Judgment Day. So in the movie, they break into Skynet, Cyberdyne, whatever the name of the company is, to destroy all the technology they have, which they got from the original Terminator who was sent back in time, which is another just like,
Yeah.
the future wouldn't happen unless it happened. And now it's in the past. Brain explosion. But it's like, how do you get the future to happen without the past, but you have to have the future in the past to get the future? Mob is...
I don't know.
I'm working Mob in circles right now.
Well, I also just finished the first season of Loki, and I'm just like, time travel it's a thing that like doesn't make sense to me, and like anytime you think you have it, you don't.
It's like best to just with time travel, even though it's kind of going back on what I was saying earlier. It's best to just not think too much. Like because like my favorite like time travel movie is probably Bill and Ted, because it's like they're like, hey, we're gonna need to go later. We're gonna have to go back in time and leave this here, so it's here, and then all of a sudden they have keys, and it's like smart.
Yeah.
So smart.
Yeah, like I always think about like, okay, if time travel is real in the future, I'm gonna time travel to this exact moment right now. Must not happen, or at least I won't have access to it.
But isn't there some like show or movie where it's like if you see yourself, you completely destroy everything that
Back
there
to
is?
the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, Back to the Future.
They talk about that.
Yeah, it could cause a problem if you're to see or touch yourself. So no touching yourselves.
Nice.
But yeah.
Oh my
so
gosh, there's a Kenny right behind Kenny right now. Gone.
You got me for a second, man. I thought I time traveled. So the ending of Terminator 2 is that essentially one, they're able to escape the T-1000 and they melt him in a vat of molten metal, and then they destroy Arnold because he's a Terminator and they don't want to use him for science. They also destroyed the Cyberdyne Systems building, so erasing all the evidence to create the future. So then the movie's over. And you think, yeah, you really can't make a sequel to this movie. They really tied up a lot of those loose ends really well. But Hollywood, man, they're like, let's make that money, bro. And now there's 6 Terminator movies. So you have 1, 2, 3, Terminator Salvation, Terminator Genesis, and then Terminator Dark Fate, which came out 2 years ago. So you're going to find a way to make money.
And there's
Yeah.
like 5 different people who've played John Connor.
Yeah.
5 different people. I haven't seen the newest one, the Dark Fate, but apparently that one was not bad.
I
It
haven't
has
seen
Linda
it.
Hamilton in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, who
And
knows?
Arnold. Arnold's back in that one. He's back in
Yeah.
Genesis too, right?
That's
He's
true.
not in
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Salvation.
think Genesis was one of the
Yeah, and they explain that like, yeah, you can age as a Terminator. Okay.
Just what?
Well,
Why?
I guess it is like flesh, like a flesh exoskeleton or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess that probably can age, but I don't know. But yeah, Terminator 2. Well, I would say that I would still recommend this movie. It's still good. Like I watched it, like I
100%.
said, watched it yesterday, and I was like, yeah, like this movie still holds up. There's nothing really cheesy about it. The only thing that I realized when I was watching it, there's like a lot of Guns N' Roses music at the beginning of the movie, like deep track Guns N' Roses. How shitty of a band is Guns N' Roses?
Ugh.
They're so bad. Like that is probably like the Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses. Thunderstruck!
Hey now, that's AC/DC.
AC/DC.
That's ACDC. You're
Yeah.
right. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I
get outta
was
here.
like, I love ACDC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Guns N'
What's
Roses,
Guns N' Roses?
Motley
Welcome to the
Crue-
Jungle?
Crue,
Welcome to the jungle.
Warrant,
Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah.
We've got
all
fun
those
and
like
games.
heavy metal, late '80s, early '90s
Hair
rock
bands.
bands, hair bands. Yeah, just the worst music, like the worst genre of music ever. Can we all agree on that? And I hate country music, and I think it's worse than that.
I will say, in high school, I listened to a lot of '80s metal, like Motley Crue, and those types of bands. Van Halen, big fan of. They do hold a soft spot in my heart, but I will not say it's my favorite or it's the best. I am not a fan of Guns N' Roses. I will say that.
But Guns N' Roses especially is really bad music.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
It's shit.
And like people love Guns N' Roses. I literally was
Yeah.
having that thought yesterday when I was watching it, and then we went somewhere and somebody was wearing a Guns N' Roses t-shirt.
That's what I was gonna say. All I can remember was in high school, like the Guns N' Roses shirt and being like, "Oh, that's cool. I need to get into this band," and then I didn't get into that band 'cause it's just not my thing. I'm not gonna say it's worse than the worst music because I would take it over some of that country music that's out there. But
Fair enough. We should be careful about talking shit
I
on
know.
country music now, though.
that's why that's why I just said some of that country music that's out there. I'm not gonna specify. I'm
Wait,
not gonna
what? I'm
specify.
confused.
We shouldn't because our dad
Oh
is
yeah,
on
yeah, yeah, yeah,
country
yeah.
music
He's-
station
he's-
drive
yeah.
time.
That's true.
in
That's true.
Chicago.
I'm sure, and you know what? I'm sure all the music that's played on that show is wonderful.
Yeah, not a false note anywhere.
If I were in Chicago, I would listen to it.
Yes, every morning.
I've actually, not having been in Chicago ever, I have listened to it before. So
US 99.
no, just the morning show. I
Oh.
logged into the app and I was like, hey, I want to hear Austin's voice, and I did hear Austin's voice.
Yes, here's the thing. Everybody, regardless of what we think about country music, if you're in the Chicago area, we do have Chicago listeners. That's a fact. We do. It's probably just Austin. But if you're in Chicago and you need a good morning radio show to listen to, Melissa and Austin's in the morning, US 99. There you go.
And I feel like I need to be true to myself to an extent. I do like some country music. There are a few artists I enjoy immensely. So I cannot say all of country music is trash.
That's why I said some. The good country music, it's
Very
probably
good.
some of my favorite.
I'll say this, just to tie it back in. So there is a Dwight Yoakam song at the beginning of Terminator 2, and I think that's a great country song.
Yes.
See?
Great song.
Yeah, fantastic song. There we go. Tied it back in.
Yeah. That's when he's at the
Everybody's happy.
honky tonk, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I like
that
that Dwight
honky
Yoakam song.
tonk, but donka donk.
Oh,
Ugh.
God.
Get out of here.
That is
Leave.
terrible.
That song sucks.
I'd rather listen to Guns N' Roses than that. There, I said
Yes.
it.
Well, let me ask you this, Mob. Would you
Yeah.
recommend Terminator 2 to a friend or loved one?
Of course.
All right.
Probably one of the only James Cameron movies I would recommend. Yep, I said it.
One of the only? There's some good James
Nice.
Cameron movies out there.
Yeah, but like, and
Aliens, Terminator 2.
Titanic.
yeah, so that's where
Avatar.
you and I differ is in Titanic, but that's a different debate.
Okay. All right. Tom, how about you, man? Would you recommend Terminator 2 to a friend or loved one?
Absolutely, 100%.
All right. That's cool. Well, that's it. That's it for our discussion on Terminator. Tom, do we have any trivia?
Let me
Or
check
maybe just some
here.
movie anniversaries?
We do. We've got both today. What would you like to start with?
Let's do some trivia.
Let's do some trivia. Okay, here.
Tommy's trivia and movie anniversaries.
So for today's trivia, it's feeling a little inspired.
Mhm.
Don't know why, but I felt like 2000s movie trivia was a good way to go for today.
Okay.
So we've got a few different categories here. So we're first going to start with taglines to famous movies from the 2000s.
Oh, yes.
So so this is what we'll start, and then I've got a few others. But to start, from what film would you find this famous tagline? The longer you wait, the harder it gets.
40 Days and 40 Nights with Josh Hartnett.
It's a great answer.
That's my guess.
It's very good answer, Mob.
I love that. I'm gonna go with it because that's a great answer.
The answer is 40-Year-Old Virgin. So you're pretty close.
That makes sense, but I really liked that poll, Kenny.
Yeah. All right.
Next tagline. From what film would you find this? The greatest fairy tale never told.
I want to say Ever After, but I feel like that was like late 90s. Or maybe Shrek.
Yeah, it's Shrek.
Maybe Shrek. Yeah, I'll go
The answer is Shrek.
Yeah, it's Shrek.
Nice.
Good pivot. All right, let's do one more.
All right. One more tagline. Let's see. Let's get a good one here. Okay, here we go. She brought a small town to its feet and a huge corporation to its knees. What movie is this from?
Aaron Brockovich.
Brockovich, yeah.
Nice, Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah, we did it. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that, Tom. And then how
Cool.
about some movie anniversaries just to round us out?
Round us out. Get this pulled up here for you. Happy 5-year anniversary to The Infiltrator.
The hell is that?
That had Bryan Cranston in it.
Oh, okay.
He was it's like a DEA agent or something.
Yeah.
Went undercover.
I remember
Yeah.
now.
I never saw it, but
Yeah, me neither.
happy 10-year anniversary to Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
Solid movie.
Great movie. I don't think I've seen all the new ones, but
Oh, I
that's
saw
very
that.
well.
Me, Mob, and Kevin watched that at Mob's old place way back in the
Mob's
day.
old place.
Old place,
Yeah.
like college apartment.
Well, because I remember we were talking, we were like, Kevin and I were like, we want to watch the monkey movie.
You
And
seen that monkey
Ken,
movie?
Ken, you were like, the monkey movie's really good. And so we watched it.
Yeah, we watched the monkey movie. It was a good
We
movie.
and that was a good monkey movie. I think the
Yeah.
next one was good as well. I
It
didn't see the
was.
final
I
one,
haven't seen the third one yet.
I
no.
haven't either.
which
I bet it's good.
Didn't get great reviews, but
Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Anyway. And then happy 25-year anniversary to Kazam.
Oh, Shaq.
Yeah, baby.
So there's like a thing. I forget what these are called, but like people like really sincerely believe that there was a movie in the '90s called Shazam with Sinbad in it, and he was a wizard, but that movie doesn't exist. And people are like, no, it exists, and it's like one of those weird like Mandela effect kind of things.
Is there not a way to look that up?
Well, I mean, you can look it up. It doesn't exist, but like people are adamant that it's been erased from like the internet.
What?
This sounds like a conversation I had with one of my good friends in high school where we had a debate. It was really stupid. I was on the side that is Jack Black and Anchorman, and he was on the side that there's no way that's Jack Black and Anchorman who punts the dog off. And
No,
we
totally.
would go.
That's so Jack Black.
But here's the thing: Jack Black is actually uncredited in that movie for that role,
Yeah.
and so he was just like, "You could put anything on the internet," and I'm like, "No, that's Jack Black."
It's Jack Black. But like that's the thing is like people truly believe, and the reason why is because there is the movie Kazam where Shaq plays a wizard, but
Correct.
people are convinced that there was another movie called Shazam starring Sinbad where he was a wizard, and it doesn't exist, or at least it's been erased from history.
You guys also remember that Shaq movie Steel, I think is what it was called?
I remember seeing the poster for it, but I never saw the movie.
Oh man, I think I saw it once. Horrendous piece of shit.
Oh yeah,
Just bad.
everything-
Just bad.
Every Shaq movie was terrible, even like
Yeah.
the ones he does with Adam Sandler now.
Just bad.
Yeah. So, well, Tom, thank you for the movie anniversaries. But guys, that's gonna wrap us up here. Really appreciate you guys for being here. Kevin loses points for not being here today. If you were here in our live stream, our secret live stream, so it wasn't a lot of people, but if you were here, thanks for joining. Be sure to subscribe to us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Be sure to subscribe to the Corkbats YouTube page, and you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the CineBoiz. You guys, you got anything else you need to say at this point?
Nah.
All right, let's wrap this shit up. I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Deuces.
Bye.